Howdy, 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 folks. This is Matt Rainwater, and today I'm going to do some inking with y'all. Um, that's what's up. That's all I got going on. I do want to make just like a notice for y'all who are watching these. I'm making a change. Not a big change, but I'm making a change. And the change is so I've been posting episodes that have basically taken place a couple of weeks after they've been recorded, and I'm just making a point from now on of making videos that take place the day of. So I want to give y'all something that is current to listen to and to watch. Um, and still, doing the sort of the journalistic type thing, but I just it I as I was thinking about it the last week or so, I've been thinking a lot about okay, I if I were a contributor to a Patreon and if somebody was like making videos and the video had taken place like weeks ago, I probably wouldn't be as interested in watching it as if, it were current. I feel like in a lot of ways too, just the way our media landscape operates, people really want now, what's happening now, what's current, and myself included, quite frankly, just to be really honest. So I felt like I wasn't quite giving y'all a full go of it, basically. And the reason why I was doing it like that, where I was like releasing videos that were kind of weeks, a couple of weeks old in material, was largely because I wanted to have a buffer so that I could do release a video a week for Patreon contributors. And it's occurring to me now that I think it works better if I just do it the week of, and then post the reruns on YouTube or whatever so that to get people interested. See, that's the plan now is like I'll post the reruns, I'll post like the old videos, not immediately for certain, but like, months later, I'll post the older videos so that people can get a taste. People who aren't contributors can get a taste, and maybe they'll be like, oh, this looks cool. Maybe I should sign up for this. So anyway, that's kind of my plan. I say kind of my plan. That is the plan. That's what I'm doing, and I really want to make these journals sort of. I want to make them more contemporary. So that's what we're doing today. And one of the main things that's going on with me right now in terms of my productivity and just getting my work done for episodes of Trailer Park Warlock right now is that for some amount of time now, I'd say about at least a half a year now, I have been having some I've been having consistent shoulder pain in my right shoulder, and that's my drawing shoulder. And I've tried a bunch of different things to alleviate the pain. Stuff like definitely less stretching. I do daily stretches when I wake up in the morning. I do yoga. I do what else? Like some hemp oil cream, which kind of helps a little bit. I exercise. I strength training has helped a lot with my right shoulder. I've definitely I'm now at a point where I can sleep more often on my right side. I had a couple months where I did not sleep on my right side at all. It was just like in too much pain. It was a pretty bad situation, and it's definitely it's the combination of now I am drawing like, 5 to 6 hours a day, and I'm, retaining the same position. And there's a technical term for it that I can't remember, but I think it's something to the effect of like sustained stress, basically. So like, you do the same activity over and over again for long periods of time, your body starts to get really sore, your joints, ligaments, muscles, all that stuff. You really start to feel it, and that's what's been going on for me. It hasn't. I wouldn't say that it's like super negatively affected my productivity, but it has slowed me down. Like I've had to take more breaks than I think I normally would, which quite honestly, I probably do need to take all those breaks just to be really 100% honest with myself. Um, but I would say for any of you out there who draw a lot, make sure you get to take your consistent breaks, maybe every 30 minutes, maybe every hour, whatever the case may be. Do some stretches. And you can find a lot of stretches online that help with shoulder pain or help with just keeping your shoulders, your arms loose, not getting too stiff there. There's a yoga pose I think it's called eagle pose. Pretty sure that's what it's called. And it's a pose that requires that you wrap one hand around the other and then you hold it in that position for, maybe about 5 breaths. And I do that. I was not a pose that I had done for a while until I looked it up. And so now I do that every day. Maybe usually about twice a day, I think. Like in the morning and then around the afternoon after I've worked for a while, I'll do that. I'm calling it eagle pose. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Don't quote me on it. I would recommend you search yourself. Here, look. I'll search right now. Why not? I have the internet in front of me. I can answer this question for you. Eagle pose. Yeah, that's it. Although in yoga, it usually also involves twisting your legs too. That's up to you. I just do the arm portion of it. Garudasana is that I think, would you say, Hindu name for it? But I'm pausing for a moment because I'm just thinking about Garuda is very common. Well, Garuda was a summon in Final Fantasy. That's where my mind goes. And I'm like, oh, I'm starting to put together all these little associations. So anyway, yeah, I'm getting, like, my shoulder is getting better. It is healing. But that healing process it's been kind of a long process, and I would definitely say that it has slowed me down, and I don't know what good advice to give necessarily on preventing that from happening. If you're somebody who draws or sculpts or I could see that being an issue for people who are professional. What was it, masseur? Somebody who gives massages as a profession. I could see that being a problem for somebody who does that because that uses a lot of upper body strength, a lot of shoulder type strength. But some other things that I've done to alleviate, or I'm doing and kind of figuring out, I'm having to tweak it a lot to alleviate stress on my shoulder and on my arm, is I have changed the pen sensitivity on my Wacom Cintiq. Because as somebody who draws, I'm pretty heavy-handed. Like, I will dig into the surface of whatever it is that I'm drawing on. Generally, it's because, so like, and this is all kind of coming back to like instruction I received in school from art professors. Something that came up a lot was, you want to use your whole arm and your shoulder, and the reason, and you prefer if you want to be standing when you're drawing, like at an easel. And I'm realizing the reason that they advised this was because, one, it's the most limber position that you can hold for drawing. If you're just using your wrist, you're generally having to lock the rest of your arm and your shoulder segment. So that's an issue that I'm having right now when I'm drawing, is like, so like, especially if I'm doing something very fine tuned, like let's say I'm drawing a line like that, like I'm going to try and draw this line as a straight line freehand, which I'm not doing super successfully. I'm just doing this as an example. In order to even try and do that, like that's about this line right here. That's about as good as I'm going to get from just freehanding. In order to do that, I have to lock my wrist, lock my elbow, and it's all going. What is that? It's all. I'm trying to figure out what part of my body is moving to do that. That's all shoulder. Yeah, that's all shoulder. So, like, no wonder why my shoulder's hurting, because like I don't freehand it as much as I used to. But I would, that's what I would do to get like a freehand line. And what's the point? Why am I saying this? And so I think the way that I think the amount of pressure that I was having to put down to make those lines happen was more than what was necessary. So I've adjusted the pressure sensitivity on my Wacom to be on the higher sensitivity range. That's helping some. But then there's a new difficulty in that my brain has to adjust to the new sensitivity level, which it's adjusting pretty fast, but it's still a little bit challenging because I had my whole mind-body connection sort of oriented towards a certain pressure sensitivity for a long time, and now I'm having to it's like, in some ways it's like having a whole new pen completely. So I kind of I don't feel as confident about my line work in this episode of Trailer Park Warlock, and this episode is episode 39. Pretty sure. Just concentrating to make sure that looks right. So, and why do I say that? So, mostly it's because some of the line work, I'm like, oh, does that look like, some of the line work might look a little too thin. The contrast between thin and thick lines is more exaggerated with this pressure setting. And previously, I felt like my line work was not, there wasn't that big of a range between thick and thin lines. Now, granted, maybe that's not that big of a deal. Maybe that's not going to bother people. It bothers me right now because it looks different. And I'm having to adjust myself to that difference, and maybe I'll just end up getting to a place where I'm inking basically the same way I was inking prior to adjusting the sensitivity on my system. But, that's the reality is I it's not good for my wrist, it's not good for my arm, it's not good for my shoulder to be applying that much pressure. And it's also just another point worth making is it's not good for the screen on my computer either, because I'm just like digging into it, and there's certainly some divots and scratches and stuff on my Cintiq screen. Back in high school, I had I had one of the original Nintendo DSs, and I scratched the crap out of that thing because I would just, like I said, the way I played that with its stylus is the same way that I draw. I just go all in. Um, I think I'm looking at this right here. I think I might put this in shadow. Let's see. Yeah, that looks alright. Looks good. Just because I've already established that with this cabinet over here, I should carry it on to the other structure in the background. I have another little adjustment I need to make. This thing needs to stick out more. I will say though, with this new sensitivity setting, it does actually feel a little bit more like inking with an analog brush. Like the sensitivity is more in line with that, and that could be a good thing long term, because I did really like inking with an analog brush, but I definitely had like moments. I mean, I had moments where either the bristles weren't like working with me properly, or like just not able to keep a point. At least that's not happening. But there'd be times where the tip of the bristle was fine, but just whatever was going on in my brain, I just couldn't. I couldn't keep the level of my thick to thin ratio quite like I wanted it. But I don't know, sometimes you deal with that and you move on and make any little adjustments you need to if it doesn't look the way you want it to look. Alright, I think I'm almost done with this panel. Some other announcements for the future. Hold on, let me see here. We've been recording for 18 minutes. Let's go a couple more minutes. I'll ink this panel and we'll be all done. Some other announcements for the future. I'm slowly tinkering around with the idea of doing a video series for public consumption. So this would not be a Patreon exclusive video series. It would be something to go on like my YouTube channel. But I'm thinking of doing a series about like fundamentals of drawing, and maybe not. It wouldn't be something super comprehensive, but it would incorporate basically like drawing exercises each week. Some fundamentals about cartooning. Like I think that's what I think if I okay. To be more precise, it would be sort of like a fundamentals of cartooning video series. And I just do a video a week and just kind of go through everything until I get to the end. I don't know how many episodes it would be. But it would cover basically like everything that I could cover outside of like life drawing fundamentals. Like I will definitely cover an episode about that to talk about like anybody who is wanting to draw. One of the best places to start is from drawing from life. Myself personally, like I'm missing out on a little bit of life drawing right now. I could really benefit from it, but the town that I live in right now, there just isn't really any good access to like life drawing studios. Like I guess I could go out and draw people, but I feel weird about it now. I didn't feel weird about it when I was younger. I feel like it's easy to get away with that stuff when you're a kid, I guess, because nobody's like feeling weird about kids sitting around drawing people, and it gets more difficult as I get older. Maybe because it's just as I'm older, I've gotten a little bit more neurotic about how people conceptualize me as an artist. Maybe I just need to lose that though. It's not really. All that stuff's not really serving me. Anyway, we could go on. So that's something that I will definitely be posting to the Patreon once it starts happening. Share it with y'all. Maybe I'll give y'all first access, but it'll only be like a week access kind of a thing. So like 1 week y'all get access to the videos, and then I put them up on YouTube. If you want to give feedback, etc., etc. Please leave any comments, questions, or concerns you have about anything that I've talked about in this video or any other videos. I always love to hear back from y'all. Hope y'all are enjoying these videos too. I like to talk about what I'm doing, what's going on, and as always, I appreciate your continued support. You'll help keep the lights on. You'll help me keep this weird, wild story going for Trailer Park Warlock on Webtoon. And I'm just gonna do these last couple of lines on Jake's face. This is God willing the river don't flood. This will be the last backstory episode. It might not be the last backstory episode, but I want it to be because I'm ready to get back into the backstory goes on for a while. That's all I'm saying. And I think that it's really interesting, and I would love to have it go on for even longer, but I only have so many episodes that I can make in a given season with Webtoon, so I feel like I need to consider wrapping up this season sooner than later. All right. It is nice though. It does, like with this changed sensitivity, it does feel a little looser, which could be a good or bad thing. But right now it feels like a good thing. Like this level of sensitivity is great for getting all these details in the face. All right. Let's put down that. Oops. Let's fix that. Let's try again. Nope. What's up? Oh. Try again. Great. Except it doesn't look quite as... That's a little better. Alright. I think that's good. And then... Where is... some yellow. Some green. All dunesies. All right. Thanks again, y'all, for hanging out with me. I'll talk to y'all later. Hope you're having a good day. And whatever it is that you're engaged with, whatever projects you're doing, or if it's just your day job or your family or whatever's going on, I hope it's going well. And I will talk to y'all later. All right. Bye.